Hey, I know what we're gonna analyze.
The episodes in season 5.
Hope it brings you laughter.
Yeah, this is episode 4. Season 4.
Oh, hey, I know what we do when we open the door.
We do the episodes in season 4.
Hope it brings you laughter. This is Afterferb.
We're on a hand car. Hi, everyone. We're in person together.
And you'll never guess where we're talking in person together from.
You have 3 guesses. 3, 2, 1. Wrong.
Give up. We're in Montreal.
In Canada. We have joined Alex in his home country.
Yes. Hopefully for good. I don't want to go back to the United States.
Yeah, you're going to cancel your flight home in a couple days.
Well, my flight home is tonight. I got work.
Zach is actually neglecting going through customs at the airport to record this very special in-person Afterferb for all of us. So everybody comment, thank you, Zach, in the comments.
Yes, my work is going to be very upset that I'm not flying back home. So
he's getting fired so we can talk about Lyla Lolliberry.
Oh, Lyla Lolliberry. I love her. It's worth it. But no, this has been a very lovely trip. Canada, specifically Montreal, has been very, very nice. We've been seeing snow, which is not something that me and Andrew are used to.
You keep saying that. I grew up in Maryland.
But you haven't been seeing snow in the last couple years.
I mean, except for when I visit Maryland.
Okay,
but it's not in Los Angeles.
But Alex and his family has been very, very, very kind and very, very generous.
You know what I've learned in the past minute and a half? It's not because I record in a separate room from you two that I struggle to get a word in.
Oh.
That actually has nothing to do with it. Is the new fact that I've learned.
I'm sorry, Alex.
Okay, well, Alex, as the resident Canadian, why don't you start by talking about the representation of Canada in this season 4 episode, Sidetracked?
Okay, yeah, so we just woke up this Saturday morning. We all got our bowls of cereal and we put Sidetracked on the TV. And I gotta say, it's a great episode. That depicts Canada.
That's why we decided to listen to it, because it's the most Canadian episode of Phineas and Ferb.
It is the most Canadian episode, and it is interesting though. From what I understand from having watched it just now, almost awake, it starts in Vancouver, basically in BC, which is all the way out west, and they take a very long train ride to, I think, Ottawa, which is the capital of Canada, which I assume is where the Canada Day celebration is happening.
Probably.
So they don't even make it all the way out to Montreal.
That's a good point. How long is the train ride from Vancouver to Ottawa?
It would probably be several days.
Wow.
But
they may compact this.
They make it out in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, interesting.
Maybe it's because they pulled the brakes and it wasn't working, and that the train, it was a runaway train.
Maybe Perry and Lyla are just that good on the handcar.
Okay, so you mentioned it starts in Vancouver. That's sort of true. That's where the train ride begins. But the episode itself begins in Seattle, which we saw in Meatless in Seattle. And I gotta say, I really like the opening sequence they did in this. I think when you do like a 22-minute episode like this and you have a little bit more breathing room, you get a little bit more time for like expositional sequences. And this one starts with like basically just an action sequence of like these villains being chased on a motorcycle by Perry. It looks really good. I gotta say, going back to season 4, I miss how the show used to look. It looks so nice.
Specifically the line animation?
That's part of it, but also just like the very fluid animation, just like very detailed backgrounds. I don't know. I mean, season 5 has elements of all of that stuff, but just the consistent look. I feel like Phineas and Ferb was definitely like very well practiced and just consistent at this point in its run.
Yeah, but I agree with that. Something I was surprised about was that we didn't see Peter the Panda in that initial Seattle scene of the beginning.
Yeah, he does show up.
However, he appears at the very end. It's almost as if they were teasing us with Seattle and then paid it off at the final or penultimate scene.
Yeah. So what's interesting is like this episode gets to the point where, you know, they cross the border and then Major Monogram's like, oh, ALCA doesn't have sole jurisdiction in Canada. They have to work with CALCA, the Canadian organization without a cool acronym. But what I'm wondering is, why was Perry in Seattle to begin with? Because that's sort of shown to be pretty far away from the tri-state area.
Yeah, well, they mentioned in the lair scene, I think, that he was like, remember the special Seattle mission we sent you on 2 months ago? It didn't go so well.
I have a theory. What if Peter the Panda was like taking vacation time, and that's why we didn't see him, and that's why Perry had to fill in for him?
What if he was temporarily suspended for being everyone's least favorite?
What if he was cheating on his nemesis with Dr. Doofenshmirtz?
He must be stopped. This
Gator the Panda is a menace.
Panda must be stopped.
This is, even before just watching it now, I've always thought of this episode as one of my favorite Perry episodes ever.
Yes.
Because
absolutely,
it kind of is one of the only ones that gets at what I think is his main weakness, which is that he hates working with other people. They touch on it in the Alka Files a bit more. They dive into it a bit more. But this is, I think, the first and best example where, he's like, I hate that I have to work with this Canadian woman.
It's surprising that it took 4 seasons to reveal Perry's flaw. And I wish it was something that the show played with a little bit more.
We've mentioned Summer Belongs to You before, and one of the reasons why that's such a great episode is like pretty much every main character gets an arc in it, but Perry always felt like the exception. And even in the movie that focuses on him in Across the Second Dimension, it's like, he's heavily involved in the plot, but it's not necessarily like him facing his own character flaws. This is a rare exception to that rule.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I always put Sidetracked in the same category as Across the Second Dimension and Summer Belongs to You.
What's funny is that
it's good.
In our apartment, we mentioned Sidetracked constantly, just because Alex, as you've noticed, not being able to get a word in with me and Andrew, the roommates as a whole have this Seinfeld-esque rapport, and we'll go off on tangents and we'll be like, I'm sorry, we're getting sidetracked. And then that will immediately be followed by someone going, like season 4, episode 6.
And that person is specifically you every time, Zach.
Well, Julia does it sometimes, but we do tend to get sidetracked like season 4, episode 6. And now we finally got to rewatch season 4, episode 6.
I think going back to things you can do when you have a little bit more runtime, because this is a Perry-focused episode, it kind of lets you breathe on his life a little bit at the beginning. We get this sequence where he's going through the Flint Fletcher household, and we see it specifically from his perspective because we don't even see like most of the characters' heads. It's just like the ankle up. And I really like that moment.
And we get to see him destroy a car.
Yeah, the lair entrance in this episode is so good because it's one of those moments like have you ever like opened a door in a parking lot and you accidentally like hit the car next to you and it makes a tiny scratch and you're like, shit, but I don't have time to deal with this right now. I should emphasize I did that like once. That's not a recurring thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how many times are you committing a hit and run?
No, but this is like that, except he drops an entire ass tree on a car in a neighborhood and then he just ignores it because he's like, oh no, I don't have
It's
time
season 5 levels of recklessness from Alka. And also season 5 levels of not seeing the characters of Phineas and Ferb. I think the reason why we were able to have such a fleshed out Perry episode is because Phineas and Ferb, the characters, are really relegated to 5 lines of dialogue at most.
Pretty much, yeah. I do, but I do feel like it's quality over quantity. I like.
Oh, absolutely.
That discussion that we see with Buford and Baljeet while like Perry's walking past them, and Baljeet assumes that Buford is not following, and he's like, "Oh, actually, that's exactly what I was talking about." I like that exposition. But then we get to the actual mission. Perry gets on this train that's apparently traveling on the exact border between the United States and Canada.
This train does not exist in real life.
Thank you for fact checking.
Can confirm. Real patriotic fact checkers checked this fact. False. Not true.
Can you also confirm or deny for us whether Albert the Moose is the symbol of Canadian patriotism?
Albert the Moose is not a real moose. I think
Precious Albert?
The moose is not even the official animal of Canada, which I'm pretty sure is the beaver.
Really?
I think so.
Well, it doesn't.
Let me look this up.
The Canadian villain, which I will get to, is later revealed to not be Canadian. He refers to the beavers initially, and then Doofenshmirtz is like, he's a platypus.
Yeah, because So thanks AI Overview for telling me that it is indeed the beaver. Let's see what.
Don't thank AI Overview.
Let's see what the real world says. Okay, it is the beaver. According to Fleming College, Toronto, which is the first result that came up. So yeah, the beaver is the official animal of Canada. I have never seen a moose in person.
What? Are you even from Canada?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad we had this discussion.
We also get the introduction of Lyla Lolliberry.
The single most attractive character in Phineas and Ferb.
Why did they make her so hot? I'm not upset. I'm just...
Well, it also helps that she's voiced by Samantha Bee, who is very, very funny.
She's from The Daily Show.
And from Full Frontal with Samantha Bee.
I wish I... No, I'm not gonna...
Nope. Cut that.
I thought we weren't supposed to edit this.
No, it's fine. I think it's very funny that the only agent we see from the Canadian organization without a cool acronym is just a real human woman
Do we know if Calca has animal agents?
Well, I was just looking up if Lyla had any subsequent appearances. She appears after Sidetracked later in Just Our Luck, where they're at Agent Con, and it's all the animal agents of Alka standing together, and she's the only human, and she just goes, "This always happens. I'm the only girl here." So they don't really draw much attention to the fact that she's a human, and I think that's kind of funny. I do think making her a human is like definitely a necessary proponent to sort of like giving dialogue to this Perry character arc that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because the whole time she's kind of emphasizing that he can't be a lone agent. He has to work with her. And I to that point, I like Samantha Bee's voice performance a lot because she's very much got that like, I'm uplifting you, but I could be a little bit annoying with how much I'm uplifting you sort of deal.
Hey Ben, do you want to come over here?
Whoa, what's that?
Oh, so I know this may be surprising to you, but even though we're in person in Canada, we might have a fourth person on it's not even a call.
You can stand over here, maybe.
Oh, I don't get a chair. That's fine.
No, you get a chair.
Ben can get a chair. Here, let's bring one around. Oh, we're gonna get this ASMR of Ben.
It is another person who has joined us on our Canada trip.
So you got to give him an introduction.
A previous guest on our show.
All right, I guess first ever return guest, even though this isn't really a real episode, this is a bonus episode. He is still the things I said about him the first time. Ben!
Hey, thank you for inviting me to be on your extraneous, non-canon, we don't really want people listening to this episode.
No,
we had you on a real episode.
I feel very...
Well, no, and I feel like it's very appropriate you have me on this episode because I am the real Canada authority of the four of us.
Really?
For example, when Alex said that train wasn't real, not true. It is a real train, and I've been on it, and I'm the Canada expert now.
Tell us facts about Canada that are all true.
Well, there's a moose named Albert who represents the national unity of the country. Everything in Phineas and Ferb is 100% accurate to real life and history.
Yeah, and not just in this episode, but in general.
In all episodes, yes.
Yeah.
It is a non-fiction show.
That's a good point. I do like how the train was adorned, how the Canadian side of the train itself has the as I've been calling it all week, the Canada leaf all over the floor. Which Alex calls a maple leaf.
Yeah, Alex calls a maple leaf for some reason.
Before I went to
Probably
Canada...
because it's called a maple leaf.
This is my second time visiting Canada because we were here a couple of years ago in Waterloo when we filmed the Chop Away My Heart video. And before I went, my mom was like, pay attention to like everything you buy in Canada. Everything you have there has the leaf on it. And I was like, that can't be true. But it is though. You get a cup from McDonald's here, it has the Canada leaf on it. We opened a pack of Signature Select towels that had the Canada leaf on it. It's everywhere, including this train.
Yeah, I guess so. I just never really noticed.
Also, the bathrooms on this train, the symbols for the man and women are hockey players. I thought that was funny.
I also, a good visual gag is looking at the Canada side of the train and it being snowing, and the American side and it just being corn.
I love that it's just corn. I've always thought that joke was
every time I go to the United States, there's just corn everywhere.
That's correct. You can stereotype.
Wait, there's corn? Care. Wait, because... Maple syrup versus corn syrup. That's really the...
Ooh, the two syrups.
Ooh.
Syrup wars.
Is there high fructose maple syrup?
I don't know.
How
but you're the Canada expert.
No, Ben said he's the Canada.
Ben's the Canada.
I'll say confidently and with authority, yes. To
Great.
the question.
I'm pretty sure there's got to be high fructose maple syrup.
So here's something else I liked about the episode.
Yeah.
I think the societal convention trap is possibly the funniest trap that
really
Doofenshmirtz has ever done. I think about it often when I'm in public scenarios and I'm wanting to like say something weird to my friend and I'm like, oh no, I'm trapped by societal convention. I can't say that here in this public setting.
Yeah,
I think we've all been there.
It's
it really is. It really is. It really is. One of the I feel like most frequently appearing online.
Yes.
Scenes in Phineas and Ferb. It comes up all the time.
Oh, and I also love how they dismantle it. I love how they do it just by annoying Doofenshmirtz by stealing his prize with a brief, subtle poutine mention. I was wondering if they were going to work that in, and they did. Because that's a very Canadian thing. Lyla asks if she can put gravy on it, which is a poutine thing that she would want because she's Canadian. So.
Are we getting poutine later today, by the way?
Yeah, probably.
I'll be poutine it in my mouth.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
I also want to shout out Kevin McDonald, the voice of Professor Bannister.
That's Pleakley, right?
From Lilo and Stitch.
Which is pretty immediately apparent if you've ever seen Lilo and Stitch, because his voice is very distinct. And it's not like he's doing a character voice, I don't think, unless it's just the exact same character voice he's doing. I don't really know how Kevin McDonald sounds when he's talking like in a normal capacity.
He probably like that.
And not performing. But I imagine that's just kind of how his voice sounds.
I do love that the voice actors for this episode are Samantha Bee and Kevin McBrown because they are both Canadian.
But maybe they should have cast a Greenlandian actor to play Professor Bannister.
Well, it's okay. Major Monogram apologized at the end,
true.
thereby absolving any cultural insensitivity toward Greenland.
I forgot what it was like to see nice Major Monogram.
Yeah, he's become...
I don't know. He was a little mean to Carl at the beginning when he came out in that little mirror and he pushed the other little mirror.
I did like how he was able to control his mirror to push down Carl somehow.
There's functionality built into the hardware of that machine to allow Monogram to be a jerk to Carl.
Yeah. I think in general, it's like Major Monogram is a little bit more... I guess like I don't know about sympathetic, but you like respect him a little bit more when it's clear that he's actually like doing his job beyond just vaguely telling Perry what's going on while like messing around with Carl in the lair. Like this was an actual mission that like they seemed like they had to focus on.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool when it comes together like that.
I think in general this episode I love the first like 16 and a half minutes, and then as soon as Dr. Bannister gets introduced, I'm like,
What?
Yeah,
I was about to ask what we thought about Dr. Bannister, because I always kind of felt that way watching this back in the day too. Like they get to him and I'm like, okay.
I feel like he is a great villain for one episode.
His presence is definitely strange.
it's just I honestly
He's definitely a weird character to subtly introduce in like the third act of your 2-part episode, because he does have such like a strong and distinct personality. You're like, oh,
yeah,
this is a very strong presence we are just now becoming aware of.
Yeah, it is just kind of like whenever they introduce a different kind of villain, I'm always like, it's impossible for me to gauge how threatening they actually are.
Yeah.
And how villainous I'm supposed to imagine that they actually are.
Well, I remember when I was first watching Phineas and Ferb, like season 1, and they had Dr. Doofenshmirtz. I guess for whatever reason, I was anticipating that he would be one of like a rotating like rogues gallery of villains, because that's kind of what like Kim Possible does. Like she's
Hamster
usually
Gretel.
Yeah,
Underdog.
Like she'll usually fight Draken and Shigo, but there's other villains in the show too. But Phineas and Ferb from an early point doubled down on Doofenshmirtz. So like you're saying, Alex, like whenever they introduce a new one, it kind of takes me a minute to like gauge if I like what they're going for.
Mm-hmm. Unless it's Rodney, then I know right away that it's wonderful.
Rodney's excellent.
I love Rodney.
Yeah, because this guy has an extremely weird design too. He's got that like broccoli hair, and then he's got these gigantic shoulders, which are
later revealed to not be gigantic shoulders, which I found a little disappointing. I was like, oh, look at this big buff guy, like wow, what a cool body type, and then he's just a twink, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, I was disappointed.
Have you guys noticed there's like a weird recurring trend in Phineas and Ferb where they have like animatronics / robots in a flying vehicle in the sky that are pitted against Perry? Because in early season 1 episode,
no, I didn't. Please elaborate.
Where Doof has like the Abraham Lincoln and I think George Washington, if I remember correctly, like robots fighting Perry, and he's in a blimp. So it's like multiple times throughout the run of Phineas and Ferb, they have like weird robots fighting Perry.
I guess 2 is multiple.
At Evan Nickel, 2 of them.
Well, they wink a little bit at both of the vehicle-related chase / fight scenes in this episode. When they end up on top of the train, Doofenshmirtz literally looks at the camera and goes, "You knew he'd end up here eventually."
I like that.
And in the helicopter fight, it's interrupted in the song by like, let's watch a helicopter fight.
Two helicopters
fighting. Little cartoony helicopters.
I do love a song that comments on the audience's viewing experience.
Yes, and then the song apologizes for the distraction, admitting that it looks cooler in the singer's head.
Yeah. All right, I gotta say, I think this episode is very good story-wise and joke-wise. I think the songs are definitely a weaker element of it.
I like Handcar.
I think Handcar is a very good song. I think it's a heavy-handed metaphor for how we work together. I like that stuck in my head for a long time. After
I do like that.
I'm with them on that.
I guess for the reason I like while that sequence was happening, I enjoyed it. I guess it's just like I never remembered that song because a lot of it is Lyla kind of just talking through it.
Well, you don't remember that song because you're too busy looking at Lyla.
You're not wrong. Okay, why is she?
The song I didn't remember at all was the helicopter one. I was like, I don't know if there is a song in the second half.
I remembered it when it started. I was like, oh, cool.
And I was like, oh. I didn't remember.
What's funny is I don't remember the lyrics or the melody of Helicopter Fight. I just remember the joke of the helicopter fight because I think the shtick is funnier or more memorable than the song itself.
I want to say it is very funny, switching topics a little bit. that Dr. Bannister. Is it a doctor?
Was it doctor or professor?
I thought it was professor.
Okay.
It might have been one or the other.
I feel like Professor Bannister is funnier.
Well, Bannister.
I heard
basically that the villain. He was like, I'm gonna cancel Canada Day, specifically because okay, not to get political, but in 2021 there was basically unmarked graves discovered from residential schools that Indigenous children were forced to go to for a long time, and then there was basically I don't know if you call it a movement, but basically we're not gonna celebrate Canada Day this year. # cancel Canada Day.
Really?
Yeah.
Is Canada Day a real thing?
Yes. What are you talking about?
Well, but what is it?
It's the Canadian. Every country has it.
But is it Independence Day or is it
Yeah, basically.
Okay, I just think it's funny to call it Canada Day.
Well, and I love that you're of course there's no train that runs along the border. Of course there's no moose that represents their national pride. Well, of course there's a Canada Day.
No,
how could you think that's not
but
real?
why would there be? How could there be a train that is half?
If they built it like that, that's how it would be.
Canada Day and let's go to the mall.
I know, but I thought it was just a recurring joke that U.S. mainstream media made because they didn't know anything about Canada.
No,
I thought Canada itself was made.
Why wouldn't they just call it Canada Day?
But they don't call the 4th of July USA Day.
Yeah, well, I feel it couldn't have possibly been you, but I have been asked before. Does Canada have the 4th of July?
Oh no, I would not have asked that. But it just feels like Canada Day seems like the name of it sounds like a made up holiday.
Oh,
well, do you
have 4th of July?
Yeah.
No, we skip from the 3rd to the 5th.
Wait, so when is Canada Day?
July 1st.
Oh, so you have the 1st of July.
No, we have. Well, yes.
Okay, on the topic of things in the Phineas and Ferb episode that kind of felt weirdly real life political, I want to talk a little bit about Bannister's scheme because it's very ambitious. It basically involves annexing Canada to Greenland.
Yeah.
And Alex, you were saying how in a roundabout way this sort of mirrors what was at one point earlier the United States' goal of absorbing Canada
and Greenland.
So talk about that.
Oh, I just made the joke that basically if the United States annex Greenland and Greenland annex Canada, then the United States will have annexed Canada too.
So Professor Bannister, not the only evil man with weird ass hair trying to. Anyway,
there you go.
There you go. I'll say it.
I'll say
Donald Trump is bad.
I'll say it. We don't like the president.
Whoa.
All right. I have one last question, which is what is the name of the Lyla Lolliberry spinoff?
Hey there, Lyla. What's it like in Canada?
You say Lyla?
I don't know. It's like Delilah, but Lyla.
Hey there, the Lyla.
Hey there, the Lyla.
Lolliberry, good time.
Ben?
Hold on. Coming up with one.
While Ben's coming up with one, I'm just going to say that we recreated the Niagara Falls scene with Major Monogram the first time we went to Canada.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so this arguably would have been more relevant to talk about the last time we went to Canada because we went to Niagara Falls. I do really like that ending sequence. Again, this is something you can only do in an episode that has a little bit more breathing room, but they just recreate Ocean's 11, where all the characters go to Niagara Falls and stare at it, including Peter the Panda. I like that.
I think Lolliberry Good Time was the one. I don't think there's any title that could be better than that. So.
Really? I thought that was extremely weak.
No. I'm turning it over in my mind. It just keeps coming back to Lolliberry Good Time.
What about you, Alex?
I think it should be called Lila's House.
She lives in a house.
Yeah.
In Canada.
Probably.
What other characters would be there for her to interact with?
Her brother and sister and best friends.
They should be called Gyla and
Shyla.
Well, no, they have to be alliterative. She says she's from a long alliterative line.
Oh,
that's true.
So they all have to start with L.
Yeah, so
Leonard
Lyla and her sisters Lola and Lily.
There we go.
If you guys have fan art of them, make sure they're adults.
And on that note,
and hey, if you're from Greenland, let us know what you thought of this episode. Let us know in the comments below.
I've never met
because you'll be
someone
way
from
below
Greenland.
us. Because apparently you're all very short.
Wow.
No. Major Monogram said they're not necessarily short.
I do like that the tag had Major Monogram breaking the fourth wall. I think that would be a funny recurring bit.
Oh, the ending is just like a PSA from Alka to the viewer.
Like every other episode would be like, for everybody to be made.
Is what he said about the flag true? Like that,
that it was just
developed
submitted
in
by
a contest in the 80s?
I would believe
because
it.
Carl casts doubt, or Monogram casts doubt on it, and Carl's like, it's true according to the internet. And I wasn't sure if the joke was like that's just a true fact, but it's kind of hard to believe.
See, the funny thing is no one knows enough about Greenland to know if that's true.
It looks like it is.
Okay.
I assumed.
Yeah, adopted June 21st, 1985.
So, as we established, everything said about all the countries in this episode are 100% true.
Yes.
And everything we say is also true. All the time.
All right.
All right, that's the end of the
Well,
episode.
that was Afterferb, the Canadian Afterferb.
Hey, that's weird. Why isn't it called AOWCA for American Organization without a cool acronym? Why is Canada the one that's forced to add a letter at the beginning?
Because Calca's easier to say than Alka.
There we go.
And that's the truth. Hi, everyone. We just made up a better name for the Lyla spinoff. Yeah, so the actual name for the Lyla Lolliberry spinoff is going to be Lyla Lolliberry's Law, and it's based off the well-known and very true Lila's Law, where half the things that can go wrong won't. So basically, things will go well for Lyla about half the time.
So like a regular amount of luck for a person.
Kind of like normal.
And once again, everything we say on this podcast is 100% true. So that law does exist.
And now I have spoken as well.
Lila's Law!